Hello again, and welcome back to the inaugural U Online Open House. If you're just joining us, my name is Tori Brignolo, and I'm a Senior Enrollment Advisor with the University of Miami's U Online programs. Our next event here is going to be called Exploring the Online Classroom, and we're going to have Titi Pega, one of our enrollment advisors here, joining us, and she is going to basically provide us with a classroom demo. Going to show us exactly what the learning platform is here as an online graduate student and give you a little bit more insight on how you would go about navigating that. So just a little insight and background on Titi, and I'm going to give her a moment here to introduce herself as well. She joined the University of Miami in July of 2016. She currently holds a Master in Strategic Communication Management from the University of South Florida, and her role at U Online is to help adult learners achieve their educational goals. So welcome, Titi. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to say a couple words for our listeners here, that'd be excellent.
Sure. Good morning. My name is Titi Pega. My role here as an enrollment advisor is to guide our new students through the application process, through the admission process, and to answer whatever questions you may have in regards to getting started back in graduate school. I know sometimes it could be an exciting time, and we're here to guide you through the process and answer what questions you have to make it as straightforward as possible.
Thank you so much, Titi. Appreciate it, and definitely glad to have you here. And I think that you're an expert at this classroom demo here. So without further ado, we definitely want to allow you to dive right into it and give our listeners here and our audience a good indication of really what it's like to be an online student. Titi here is gonna show you a few things, just kind of the general scope of what to expect as you log into the online classroom. And, really get a good idea of what a daily, day in the life of a U Online student is going to be like. So without further ado here, let's allow Titi to get into this, dive right into this demo and show everybody the online platform.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. First, when you log in to your online classroom, it's on the Blackboard platform. Everything you have is going to be here. It's all contained when you log in. You're going to click on the class. The first thing you're going to see are your announcements. This is basically how your instructor, your professor speaks with you. You're going to want to check this, I would say, every day. So you're on top of everything that you have to do, and you know what's going to happen next. The left side is the panel that you're going to want to focus on. First, I see if you click right here, you have the course announcements, and then we'll go to the faculty bio. It's one of the first things. This is the BUS 640 course. It's one of the first classes our MBA, accounting, as well as finance students take. Here's the faculty bio if you want to get to know your professor before you get back. This top right button here is back to Blackboard. You're going to want to click on that a lot. That's what's going to take you right back to the online course. Next is the syllabus. You're going to want to log in. There is a preview period. You have about 4 days to log in before the course gets started. So you're going to want to dive into the syllabus, and this is where you see the course information, the course description, the course outcomes. So this is the very first thing you're going to want to do before you begin each course. Go to the syllabus and see what the course outcomes are going to be, what you're going to learn from this class. Take your time to familiarize yourself with the course outcomes in the syllabus, and that way you're well aware of what the course is going to have in store for you. Again, to get back to that original page, click right back to Blackboard.
And just to jump in real quick, just something that Titi said that I think is massively important is as an online student here, you are provided with a preview period. So although your course may begin on a Sunday or Monday, typically that Wednesday prior to the start of your class, you're going to have full access to your online classroom. Now, obviously, you wouldn't want to participate until the class actually begins, but the good thing is you can really look ahead. So, we definitely want to make this something where, the adult learners know how to transition to school and, could look ahead in the week. So if they have the downtime to work ahead, they have that opportunity to do so. If nothing else, they could at least plan ahead for the following weeks.
Definitely. You want to take the opportunity to log in those few days before the class starts and just see what what the course is going to be about. This is the course calendar that I'm in right now. This is an old class. So usually here you would see laid out everything that you have to do, everything that is due, what's coming next. One of the most frequently asked questions is, When are my assignments due? What do I have to do during the week? It's a great question. If you click right here on your course calendar, you'll find everything you have to do. It's not available right here because this is an older class, but for your brand new courses, you're going to see what you have to do and when it is due. And we're going to go right back here to My Grades.
And you can also import that calendar into one of your personal emails as well, which is pretty awesome. So, if you're using a Gmail account or whatever the case may be, Outlook,
definitely just upload it. So then it'd be right on your phone or wherever you get your calendar. So when you start your day, you look at your phone and everything you have to do is already there.
Exactly.
This is the My Grades section. This is where you're going to want to keep up to date on your grades, what you've done, your knowledge checks, your quizzes, so you know what you've completed, what the grade was, so you're up to date on what you've done, and you can keep up to track right there with the grades that you've taken so far, so you can watch your participation. Course messages. Let's just take a look at each one of these tabs. These are course messages. This is usually where your instructor can communicate with you. If you have questions, if you want to interact with your other classmates, this is where you would do that. Math Resource Center. This is usually for our business and finance students. Another frequently asked question is there going to be help? Would we have any assistance? Yes. This is a refresher course for you to get started, just so you can, if you haven't been to school in a little bit, this is for you to get back right up to track with all the math that you may want to remind yourself a little bit on. And all of this is located in the course classroom. As a full-time student, you will have access to the library. So this is where you'll be able to do your research in regards to your writing and getting prepared for the online classroom. You have full access to the library, so you can get your work done that way in regards to fulfilling your research requirements.
And for anyone that was in our prior session, we spoke a little bit about APA formatting. That's also a great resource there that can assist in, helping you get caught up to speed in case that, you're unfamiliar or just it's been a long time. So a lot of resources all available online, and as you can see, super easy on the navigation bar in the online classroom.
Here, it's 100% online. As we've mentioned in our previous sessions, each course is 7 weeks long. In a semester, you'll be completing 2 classes. One 7-week course, there's a week break, and then there's a second 7-week course. So in a semester of 15 weeks, you would have completed 2 classes. 7 weeks, it is, so you're only focusing on 1 class at a time, which is a great advantage. So you're focusing your time, your energy, your resources on one specific class, so your attention isn't divided, and you can learn one thing, and then you move on to the next. Here, on your left-hand side, you're going to see the course overview, where you see week 1, week 2, through week 7. So if you want to know what you're going to be doing that week, you simply go to the week you're in and click on it. Week 1, for this course, it's the building blocks of finance. And now it's pretty well laid out. I believe this online classroom, the Blackboard format, is very user-friendly. So you know what you're going to have to do next and when it is due. All courses are due Eastern Standard Time. So it doesn't matter what part of the world, what part of the country you are, everything is due Eastern Standard Time here in Miami. You are a student, obviously. So we make sure everything is due our time here, 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. There are usually 4 things to do in a week: your quizzes, your knowledge checks, word problems, and this is different depending on what class you're in, depending on the instructor. But usually it's all going to be listed out for you here. So you have your weekly download where you have the course contents. So you know exactly what you're going to need to do and when it's due within each week. Let's go right back to Blackboard. So to answer the question of what do I have to do and when it's due, it's all listed right here, laid out pretty well in the online classroom. For your discussions, it'll be right under here in the user panel. So to post a discussion when it's due, you'd click on that. You'd see if it's week 1, you'd click on week 1 discussion forum, and that's how you would post your assignment for the discussion forums. The discussion forums are also great in order to communicate with your other course mates, your classmates within the online classroom, to see what they think about a particular subject, to see what you think. And that's a great way to build ideas and for opportunities to grow. So when you guys are discussing in the online classroom. So you're going to want to check that often for your assignments and just to read what your other colleagues are thinking about what you're going through during the week too. Here's where you would submit your assignments. So when you have to upload an assignment, this is where you would do it. There is a student readiness orientation that all of our students take. The student readiness orientation is also located in Blackboard, and it's an excellent way for our students to get to know the online format before they get started. So even before your first day of class, before the preview period, you're going to be in this online classroom all day if you want to. You're going to have your own student readiness orientation. That in itself is 5 modules. And the first module is, I believe, a discussion. The second one, you have the opportunity to upload a document. The third is a 3-paragraph APA formatted paper. The fourth, a math quiz. And the fifth is a 3-page APA formatted paper. The student readiness orientation is a great opportunity for our students to be in the online classroom, learn the technical side of it before they have to start their classes. So if it's, I don't know how I'm going to work in the online classroom, you're going to have ample amount of time to learn and navigate how the online classroom works before the course gets started.
And TT makes a great point. I mean, I think for our listeners and people viewing here, you may be looking at this screen and may thinking, oh, wow, there's a lot going on here. I promise you it's not that crazy. Once you actually get into class, it's very, very simple and very easy to navigate. I mean, basically, just important things are just to always refer to your syllabus and always refer to that week in class that you're in, because everything's really going to be laid out for you. An important thing to note is that when you click on, for example, like week 1 of the class or any of these screens for that matter, you're going to want to make sure that you scroll through the entire page. There is a lot of content in all of these sections on this online platform. So, you may think, oh, where am I going to find the answer to this question? Well, you might just, not have scrolled down far enough to get that answer. So that's something important to note, because there'll be a lot of different information and a lot of different things that you'll want to make sure you review, as well as resources. And as TT mentioned, I mean, we actually require all of our new students to participate in this student readiness orientation, and it provides you full access to a Blackboard, basically mock classroom. So these things that we're showing you with posting to discussion boards, submitting assignments, APA formatting, you actually have to do mock assignments prior to starting your program, so you're 100% comfortable with this material. So, for those individuals that haven't been in school for a while or just never done online classes, we actually, essentially force you to learn the online platform before you become a student. And it's
a great opportunity for you to be able to learn and navigate. And when you get into the online classroom, you're now focusing on the content as opposed to learning the technical side of it.
Exactly.
So let's see what the quiz looks like. We'll go ahead and click on Take a Quiz. Take quizzes. You want to make sure before you take your quizzes that you have ample time, that you have a great internet source, and you're ready to take your quiz. These quizzes are timed. We want to make sure that you're ready for it and you're ready to participate in your quizzes. So let's see week 1 practice quiz. See what that looks like. As you can see, it gives you instructions, and then you can go ahead and begin. So we'll see quickly what a practice quiz looks like. Again, here's an example of one of the first questions in our practice quiz. So you're at home, you're reading your quiz question, you have access to your resources, and you go point by point to take your quiz. You want to make sure if you have any issues that come up while you're taking your quiz, if you lose your internet access, if something happens, just reach out to one of us or to your student advocate, and we'll go from there. So it's not the end of the world if something happens while you're taking your quiz. Please just let us know as soon as possible.
Always good to let the professors know as well. I mean, the more people you inform, the better that we can, assist and make sure that we can work out whatever technical issues that may, occur throughout the program.
Yeah, you definitely always want to make sure if something is going on, if you have an issue, if you're going to be a little bit late, you always want to keep your professors, your instructors abreast of the situation so they know what's going on with you. Again, we are here to help. Here at the University of Miami, our goal is your success. So we want you to do well. So if there's something going on, everybody has things going on in life. We surely understand that. We want to be aware of it ahead of time. So you let your instructor know, and we can just go from there because we want to do our best to assist you. Okay. Yeah, and that's pretty much how the online classroom is laid out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, TT. And again, I know this was a general sort of, resource just to kind of give you a quick overview of exactly, what the online classroom looks like. And I think, when our students get admitted into the programs here, again, they have that opportunity to explore Blackboard themselves, and they'll get to do that way before class starts. So you'll be well acquainted with the process and how things work here.
You have about a month to complete the student readiness orientation, and it's always going to be there for you as a guide. So when you log into your Blackboard, even when you're getting to your first course, your student readiness orientation will be there for you if you want to go back and look at it.
And as always, we are here to help. Like TT said, we can't stress that enough. I know we know that you're online students. You know you're an online student, but at the end of the day, I mean, and it's been stressed through the past, events here today through these webinars is that we're here for you. I mean, we're here to work for you. We're here to make sure that this is a opportunity for you that you're not overwhelmed in or feeling, insanely uncomfortable or anything like that. So if there's ever any issues, the best piece of advice is just to let somebody know. This is absolutely what we're here for. With that being said, we do have a couple questions that came in here, so definitely want TT and myself to be able to review some of these with you while we have you on the webinar here. First question that came in is, let's see, how can I get in contact with my professor? So as we showed you throughout the live demo, there's those course messages there, which is just one aspect. There's also going to be live office hours, which will be listed within your online classroom as well. Those are available weekly. And then, of course, email communication. I mean, you're talking about 24/7 around-the-clock communication possibilities. So emailing is always a way to get in contact with your professors. TT, would you like to elaborate a little bit?
Absolutely. I would say it depends on the professors. I know some professors will give you their number for their office hours, which is, it takes place in a Zoom meeting, so you can actually see your professors. It's once a week. They do want you to come prepared for this office hours. Like, have your questions ready and what you want to talk about, and it's a way for you to speak to your instructor, get your questions answered immediately, and also speak with your other classmates. If this is recorded, so if you're not available, if you have to work, another obligation, you can always go back and watch the recording of what your other colleagues asked.
Definitely. So we have another question here, and thank you, TT, which is, how would I log into the faculty office hours? So that's actually a great question. It's going to be through your online classroom. There's actually a system that we use called Zoom meetings. It's very similar to Skype. And basically, there'll be a link provided that'll be active for that hour in the classroom. And then right through the online classroom, you can access that link and basically get connected in this Zoom meeting with your professor. So there is the option to use webcam. It's not required. Sometimes the professors will be on there. If not, they're just on a phone call as well. But they are live and active in this session. And typically, for the hours that are designed, they are responsive. Even if students don't show up, they're still going to be there. So if you show up late, you can always rely on your professor being present within those office hours. And again, it's logged in directly through your online classroom once it's active and you're a student. And we'll help you with this as well when you become a student. But, you'll be able to access it through that same navigation bar that we showed you earlier. Let's see, got another question that came in here. And this one is coming from Michelle, which is, can you work at your own pace, or is there a set time to be logged into the course? Titi, can you answer that for us?
Yes, that's a great question. It's definitely more self-motivated, self-directed, self-paced. You must turn in your assignments before they're due. We just want you to work ahead of time. Make sure you're planning. In the previous session, just make sure you make a plan for the week and do your best to turn in before the due date. So you don't necessarily have to be, it's not like a physical classroom where you have to be on campus Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from 12 to 2 o'clock. Here you have 24/7 access to the online classroom. You should. It will behoove you to turn in your assignments before they're due, before the deadline, which is usually 11:59 Eastern Standard Time, and you know when it's going to be due in the online course, an online classroom.
And just to piggyback off that as well, I mean, yes, absolutely. You definitely are going to have 24/7 flexibility in your classroom. That's not to say, though, that you want to wait, as TT mentioned, until the last minute to do these assignments. There's a lot of coursework in these classes. It's a graduate program, and although it's offered online, yes, it provides flexibility, but it doesn't mean it's any easier. So we want to stress that point because students definitely want to be active daily in the classroom. I know that's not always a possibility, but if you can log in daily, it's highly encouraged. And, we would say that on estimate about 25 and upwards of 30 hours per week have to be dedicated to your studies. Granted, everybody learns at a different pace, but, at the end of the day, the good part is you'll have the flexibility to learn at your own pace, but you still have to abide by the syllabus to make sure that you are turning in your assignments on the due dates. But again, there's no restrictions, so you're not going to be required to be present online at a set place, set time throughout the week, which does kind of give you that flexibility to participate in class. So we have another question here, and thank you again, Titi, for your answer. Definitely appreciate it. And when do I gain access to my course? So we touched on this briefly. You'll actually have access usually the Wednesday before your class starts. So at least about a 4-day window in which you can log in and get full access to your online classroom, including your syllabus, office hours, your course assignments, all of those good things. So we get a lot of students who will literally log in that first day, that Wednesday before class starts, and they'll start getting all of their assignments ready. Again, just can't stress enough, don't post until the first day of class. The assignment wouldn't be accepted, but at least you can have everything ready to go. So if you complete your assignments, you've got them saved as a Word document or whatever the case may be, you can turn them all in on that first day of class if you've, worked through that preview period.
And you know what books you're going to need and what other materials you need to purchase. That's located in the student portal, and it's just right there in the student portal. It says textbooks. You click right on it and you know what books you need, and it's usually advisable to get the books before the course begins, and you're going to know way ahead of time what book you need for each course you're going to be in.
Absolutely. In fact, as a new student, we have a checklist online that we have all of our new students go through, and one of those portions of the checklist is to order course materials. So, we're definitely on top of it, and we make sure that you all are on board as well. But of course, any questions or concerns are always can be directed to our academic or our admissions team. This is what we're here for to help. Just have time for a few more questions here. Next one is going to be, are there any other computer programs that I need to purchase? Definitely a great question. So as an online student here, with the University of Miami, we do provide access to Office, Microsoft Office. So you'll actually get a subscription for that as an online student. Certain things like Adobe, most computers have those already, so you should have access to those types of situations or types of software. Not necessarily things that you would have to go besides your course materials, which may be your books and things of that nature, but not necessarily any other software that you would need to purchase. Now, some of the business courses do require assignments to be scanned. If you don't have a scanner, there are systems like the Tiny Scan app, which is available on all smart devices, which students can use. There's a free version and a paid version. So, things like that, for a few dollars, you may want to use the paid version of the Tiny Scan app. But outside of that, the resources here are most certainly going to be provided. And as I mentioned, you would have access to the Office system if you don't have it installed on your computer already. Do you have anything to elaborate on that? I think that's pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're able to download whatever software you need to download. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we have a final question. Actually, we got two more questions here. And let's start with this first one, which is, what if I can't listen to a professor's lecture? What's the case if I can't be, present, or I can't do those office hours? What are my options from there?
We touched on that earlier. If you're not available, if you have other obligations during that specified office hours times, it is going to be recorded, and you should be able to find the recording, the transcript right there in your online course room.
Yeah, you can actually download the transcript, so you can review literally everything that was said through the video, and be able to kind of get caught up to speed. So, these resources are all available online, though. So, we try to make it a situation where students have access to these materials because, again, we understand how busy life is, right? Sure. So maybe you can't be present at that time, but you know what? You can go back in later on in the day once it's saved, and you can download it and review all the information anyway. So. It's in a sense asynchronous, right? Because again, you don't have to be present, but in the same breath, you want to make sure you can be present as much as possible.
You can get your questions answered.
Exactly.
That's why it's important.
Exactly. All right. So let's see. Got another question here, and what if I need technical support? Who do I contact and how?
Technical support. We have a number. It's right there in the portal. So if you have technical issues, just contact our technical support, put in a ticket, and they should be able to help you pretty smoothly and pretty quickly. So as soon as you have an issue, contact us immediately. Let us know what the issue is. Just call the technical support number, and we'll be here to help you.
And also, as we showed a little bit in the demo there is a section on the navigation bar for technical support. In addition to that, we have our own website online called the U Online Support Center. It's literally a website dedicated specifically for that reason, support for online students. And there's a variety of resources in which you can contact us. You can submit an online ticket for technical support. You can live chat with an advisor for technical support. There's the phone numbers. There's email contact. I mean, essentially any way that you could think of to communicate with us, we have those options available for you. So students will have access to that U Online Support Center immediately. It's a wide open website there. So the resources are readily available. I mean, that's the best thing I can say is it really is available for students online to kind of be able to navigate these things on their own. But of course, at the end of the day, sometimes all questions can't be answered with online and you need to speak with somebody, and those options are certainly going to be available for you as well. And it looks like we have time for one final question here. And the question is it possible to access Blackboard on mobile? So that's a great question. Titi, what's your take on that?
It is possible to access Blackboard on your mobile device if you have to check something. It's definitely advisable to have your computer have a steady internet access. It is a graduate degree program, so you want to make sure you have access to your computer where you can do your work there. But definitely you can pull up your online classroom on your phone if you want to check something, but it's not advisable to try to complete the entire 100% online program off your phone or tablet. You definitely want a laptop, a desktop in order to get your work done. But to answer the initial question, yes, you can access it, but you definitely want to rely more heavily on your computer.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, she couldn't have said it better. I mean, you can definitely look at your classroom on mobile. In regards to trying to be a student with a mobile device, definitely not. I would not recommend that whatsoever. You want to make sure you have full access to a computer. It just makes life a lot easier. Sometimes things with mobile applications don't have the full accessibility to the resources that Blackboard provides online. So it would be more for, like Titi said, kind of pulse checking, seeing maybe a grade or, an upcoming assignment.
Or an announcement.
Right.
An announcement, you just want to check it.
But and really, if you're just on the run, or if maybe you're on public transportation or whatever it is, it's good for reference. But in regards to actually participating, 100% want to make sure you have a laptop available. You would not be able to be a successful student just strictly off a mobile device.
No, but if you're commuting and you want to read something, if you have anything, definitely it's good for that. But you definitely want to rely on your computer.
Right. All right. Well, I think that's about going to bring us to the end of our session here, and just again want to thank you so much, Titi, for being present and answering some questions for us, showing us this online demo. And of course, thank you again to all of our listeners that were present. We hope that this was insightful for you and at least gave you kind of a snippet of what the experience is like as an online student here. Now, if you're interested in finding more about our sport administration program, then stay with us because we're actually going to have our next session called Building Your Career in Sport. I'm sure a lot of people out there, they often associate University of Miami with our sport brand, so it's definitely going to be an exciting session there. And we're going to have one of our faculty members, Paul Resnick, and that's going to be at 12 noon Eastern time. So as you can see here from our last sessions, and same thing this time around, if you want to find out more about our graduate programs, you can always call our admissions hotline there.
Give us a call.
We do have enrollment advisors readily available, not just myself, Catherine, or from the previous session, or TT. There is other advisors ready.
Call us now.
I'll definitely be able to answer your questions for you. And again, the website as well is also a great resource, so feel free to log on to that, get in contact with us in any which way. So thanks again, everybody, for being here.
Thank you. Please let us know if you have any questions.
Absolutely. Give us a shout, and thanks again for participating, and you all have a wonderful rest of your day.